Did you get that?
The whole Johnny Depp thing.
Yeah.
We got pieces of it.
So we'll they'll be sprinkled in.
We'll get more Depp.
All right. I don't want to go on that too
We
much.
can dep it up.
All right, I'm rolling.
We've got some product placement here
I'm
too.
mostly just gonna sit here and be quiet.
Maybe in your own sleep, we'll send me a case of this stuff. I had drank instead.
Right, I remember the drink. So Asheville,
Asheville.
back in Asheville.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, well, this building has Echo Mountain Studios, where Panic recorded their last record. So there's,
Oh, this is the place where they did it?
yeah,
That's what you were talking about earlier?
yeah,
The Street Dogs thing? I didn't know they did that here. I thought they just, well, I hadn't really kept up with like where they were doing their last few records at, you know?
mm-hmm.
I
Well-
know they, like we always have David Barbie doing our records, and I was wondering if they brought John Keane with them for this. They did.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Question answered.
So, speaking of David Barbie, Black Market Tango.
Black Market Tango. That Danny came to me. It was probably sometime in 2019 or late 2018 or whatever, because we hadn't done a record in a long time. I mean, we'd been playing shows and stuff, and it was like, you know, it's like that's still part of the income, that's part of the job, and you know, and that can get to kind of a muscle memory kind of thing, because we'd been doing these things for a long time, and there would be occasionally, you know, like a piece of music I would send to him, because he always has a ton of lyrics and music too, and I've always got like loads of like just little snippets or shards of music around that I'll never finish by myself, but that's why he and I work together, you know. So occasionally, like there would be new songs over the years, but when he came to me pitching a record to me, because it always involves money, and he said our manager Carson Stokes and another associate of hers, they wanted to back a project. You know, it's like, you know, if you guys do a new thing, it's been a long time, you know, since you've had something new out. It's like, you know, it gets down to like business stuff. It's like, you know, I can get you different gigs if you're promoting something new, you know. And anyway, Danny was pitching the idea to me, and I listened to him, and I listened to him do his thing. It's like, yada yada yada, you know. I was like, okay, Danny, that's all well and good, but doing a record of like new stuff, that's a whole different thing than just going out to play some shows, you know. And we got to see what we got, because me and you haven't sat and, you know, with guitars and notebooks and our phones or whatever. We haven't done that in ages, so I don't know what we have, you know. And I have no interest in doing like a Danny Hutchens solo album with us backing you up.
Right.
You know, like this is gonna be me and you. You know, that was the key thing for me. And he was like, you know, that's 100%. I'm with you. So we actually sat in my little apartment, the last place I was living. I lived in this like little studio apartment, and that's where he was. That's where we had this little meeting at, and we actually whipped out our guitars and notebooks, and, you know, our little technologies. We started kind of mapping stuff out and going through things. It's like putting together a puzzle, you know. And we actually sat there for probably like 3 or 4 hours.
In one session.
Yeah, and we hadn't done that like, and I even told him, like, man, we haven't done this in like 10 years probably.
In 30 years of writing songs together.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like the days when we used to live together, like we were always in contact, you know. But now, you know, over the years, he gets a family, and everybody's kind of separated. They're not really writing like that, you know. Like I said, it got to the point where it was more like I might send him a piece of music, cause like and you know, we'd do something to it, or you know, or we'd work in some new thing that he had, or you know, songs like that would appear over the years. But as far as like, and some of those things are probably on the record, you know. It's like it's not all completely like nobody's ever heard it before, but we started putting it together. And the guy, one of the guys behind the record that, you know, was financing it, he had one condition. He insisted that God's Bar had to be on it.
Justin.
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he had a thing about that song. And I was like, well, that's fine. But we also have a bunch of other stuff. So
And that's a 10-minute song.
And, you know, we can't fit all that, you know.
Right.
And he was like, you can do a double album. I was like, oh, okay. Well, that changes everything. And then we started working from there like that. And the way we were doing it, you know, like I said, we were doing it with David Barbie, because he's like another member of the band when we start doing that kind of stuff. You know, we started mapping out dates and things, but it was kind of pieced together because he was working between other sessions, other gigs that he already had. So it was I'm not sure what the time span was, but it was like if we could have just done it all at once, it probably would have. We did it pretty fast, but it was kind of spread out over time. And then what happened next?
I do.
The NBA shut down.
Yes, the NBA shut down. Well, that was the kicker. Right?
It was.
Sports went away.
That's when it was like what I don't know. I mean, there's actually a date. It was sometime in March.
It was March. It was St. Patrick's Day, I think.
Yeah. I can't remember the exact date.
Right around St. Patrick's.
And then
Day.
everything started shutting down. And then so it just kind of sat and was put on hold. It's like, well, put it out now. So we ended up putting it out in I guess April. I think.
April 2021. Yeah.
And we were starting to get plans together. Like Carson had already there were some shows already being booked. Some of these After Panic things and a couple random things here and there. And I hadn't seen Danny. I mean, because I'd seen him maybe once
because the NBA had
in
shut
person
down.
because the NBA had shut down and he was too depressed to, it's like if he didn't have his basketball, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, well, people love their sports.
So it was all through group text and things like that. And Danny and I, we had done right after the record came out, we'd done a Zoom interview with Americana UK, and he he didn't look he looked bad. I was like, man, I don't know if it's just a bad day or it's like that's Danny. But we were starting to get together with the little group text like with the band. It's like, is everybody ready to go do some shows? We got some things coming in. Like we got this record. You want to get back to work, and everybody's chiming in, and you can't tell reading somebody's text like what their tone actually is or what kind of shape they're in or whatever. But I won't get into this too much, but let's just say after some certain things were discovered is that, man, he wasn't going anywhere, so a lot of this stuff happened at once. He passed on May 9th. He was in the hospital for a few days, so that was very hectic.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of processing things and a lot of sometimes I had to put the phone down. It's like, man, you need to stop looking at everything. You can't respond to everything. You can just put it away for a little bit. And then as things start settling down a little bit, Carson was our manager. She was like, "What do you want to do? Do you want to do these shows?" And I was like, so it was time to start thinking about that. It's like, well, and I can't remember who initiated it. Like if it was me thinking about this, or if it was her suggestion, or if it was a mutual kind of thing. But it was like, well, what we can do is take if we approach this like the Bloodkin and Friends shows that we used to do in Athens, like every December at the Georgia Theater, and it was just us and a bunch of our friends, just people coming in and out.
It was an epic event every year.
I mean, you were probably at all of them, So between people like Eric Martinez or Tori or Betsy, I mean, all these people have played with us at one point or another over the years, and they're all like, once you're in, and if me and Danny liked you, it's like, oh, you're kind of, the name of the band is Bloodkin, you're an honorary member, whatever.
Right.
And some people wanted to step in, and it kind of surprised me because like Tori Pater and Betsy Frank in particular, they got their own things. I mean, as you know, Tori's a busy boy.
Yeah.
But they're both like, man, we'd love to, we love the songs, man. We'd love to go out and do this stuff.
So let me stop you there.
And David Nickel, he wanted to step in for, there's some other things going on that, with the bass situation. And he's like, I can do it. And, he did his time with us.
Yes, he did.
Back in the day. Now he might have been he was probably the rustiest out of all of us because, as far as band activity stuff, but he was good to go.
So I remember being out in Colorado in late June, and Martinez and I put the album, the vinyl on at his house, and no, this was in April actually, before Danny passed, and we were listening to it, and we looked at each other during Trashy, and we're like, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and then
it's a good record, man.
And then, but I'll tell you what caught me first was Her Blues. Out of all of the other songs, even God's Bar, I was like, it's too damn long. I'm not even gonna. But Her Blues really, I mean, that song stuck with me.
That's kind of funny. That's the one that stuck with you.
It did, man. Both of your songs on
Yeah.
that, Speed Freak Highway
Yeah.
and Her Blues, were the ones that really popped. And having, I'm pretty familiar with the catalog, if you will, and
Probably more than me. Like you and Eric Martinez probably know more of our stuff than
well, I don't know about that, but it was it was cool to hear your stuff be more prominent. I mean, even Eric and I talked the first time we went through it, and April was like, "Wow, that kind of feels like Danny's trying pretty hard." But these Eric songs are really natural, and I think Speed Freak Highway had been around for a minute.
Yeah, it had been. I remember writing that like years ago. It was one of those things like the lyrics started popping in my head at work, and I just had some like I'll get a lot of things in my head. It's like I don't have a guitar, but I got a phone, so just kind of make some notes. And if I keep this in my head long enough, as soon as I can get to a guitar, and it's kind of simple.
Right,
and,
but
and
it's-
mine was
the
just a
imagery was
verse all the
amazing.
way, just all the way through. And Danny was like, because he had to write something on it so he could get his name on the credits. He had the bridge part to it.
He couldn't let Carson Jones have all the glory. Huh?
Yeah. And they work together, and that's how a lot of this record is like that. I mean, there were some things like Her Blues, like I'd had that around for years, just kind of floating around. And if you play stuff enough at sound check, or practice, whatever, it's like everybody will kind of start slowly chiming in, and it's like, I need another song to sing. It's like Danny needs a break here and there. He can't sing everything,
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to have a couple more to sing. It's like I needed something besides New Pony and Happy,
And Alice,
and Alice. Yeah.
which is also a great song.
Thank you.
So yeah, with that first time through, it took me a minute. I think both of us a minute. Eric, being a pseudo member of the band, he was
Pseudo.
I know. I'm kidding. He's Eric. You didn't hear that. It wasn't until I was back out there, for the Panic shows at Red Rocks. The first time back after the NBA shut down. And we listened to God's Bard. We both were just like that second half of that song where it's like two songs kind of mashed together.
Yeah, it is two songs, really.
But it's just, I mean, it's an opus.
Yeah. It's really good. The coolest thing about that, we did that for the box set because I think we actually recorded Henry Parsons because we'd never recorded it before. And anytime you put out something like that, it's like, while we're here, let's record a couple, And I think Danny had the God's Bar thing floating around for ages, just trying to find, like he had told me at one point, it was like, we were talking about that song. It's like I was trying to I was thinking of it like a book. And then it's like, I can't write a novel. And then the short stories, like, I can't write short stories. So you just crammed it into a song.
Screenplay, can't
Yeah,
do a screenplay.
And when we recorded it, and, William Talks was with us, and David Nichols on that, we actually got it in one take, and the main thing was that, like, there's enough of a pause in the middle of it. Willie was playing dobro on the first half of it. And there was enough time for him to set that down and pick up his electric when we go into the second part of the song.
Wait, you guys did that in one take?
Yeah.
Live?
Now the horns, that was added later.
Right.
But the basic track of it was all one take.
Wow.
Because when everybody's playing, it's like, man, we better fucking get this because I don't want to go back and have to do this from the beginning again.
Holy
So
crap.
it was just one of those.
You nailed a 10-minute song in one take?
Yeah, it was one of my most amazing Bloodkin moments.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, speaking of songs that didn't make it to albums,
Yeah.
makes sense to me. I've been meaning to ask you guys about this for years, probably. Y'all never put that on a record, did you?
No, I always thought that was more of a. That just seemed more like a live thing. Maybe just something different to break it up a little more.
Well, Panic put it on their second album.
Yeah, I think that was the first Bloodkin song that they recorded. I think that was probably back when we were. What year was that?
92. It was on Mama's Kitchen.
Yeah.
So I want to say that was 92. But
'Cause-
so you guys never thought about, because your version is totally different.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean, it's not totally, but it's in a minor key and it's funkier.
Yeah, but it's kind of changed. Like when you get different lineups, like the songs that you usually do, like they always change a little bit when somebody else puts their new little twist on it, And plus, like half the time we might have been playing it wrong. Like, I didn't know you were playing a minor chord there. I was playing, And I think even with it, I think even doing it now, like me and Tori have discovered, it's like, I'm playing something totally different than what you are. It's like, So, you know,
That's what happens when I try to play quarter tank with you guys.
Yeah.
I play it different. If
Per-
Martinez
personally-
gets on me for that.
me personally, I actually never thought of having that song on a record. It just didn't. I mean, it's like, you know, it's a cool thing to play live, you know.
Huh.
But it, no, I don't know. It's never really occurred to us to try to do that.
All right. So the first time, I guess your first time back actually on stage after
The NBA.
the
shut down.
NBA shut down and after Danny passed was that Colorado run, wasn't it?
I think so. Well, there was a show that had been put together, and Spanky McClure had something to do with this. And,
Oh, in Nashville.
yeah,
Nashville.
and that's kind of that sort of ties into the same approach. Like Betsy and Tori were there for that, and Spanky Spanky basically picked out a drummer, and you know, he kind of put that band together. And these are Nashville dudes. Like we had one practice, and it's like we got it, you know.
Right. Whit Murray was on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and he was great, man. It's like, dude, I mean, it sounded like he'd been playing with us for ages. You know, he's really good.
He's a fantastic.
And the
drummer,
drummer,
John Enrique or John, he just call him Elvis, I think.
yeah. He was great.
Yeah, those guys are pros.
Yeah.
So between that and then the show at the Oriental, which was also had Tori, Micah Monroe, I mean, it's basically Bloodkin
Yeah.
West.
Well, yeah. We've been that's another thing that's kind of made it. It's kind of taking that approach going forward because like me and Danny have been going out to Colorado for years. If we couldn't take the whole band, like Eric Martinez could put together a band out there and that knew our shit. So you know, like, so that's why when all this stuff first happened, like after Danny and stuff, and people would ask me about Bloodkin. I was like, you know, what are you gonna do? It's like, man, it's like there can be. I mean, it can still go on. I mean, there are people that still want to do it, which makes me happy, you know. But it's like, man, I mean, I could see it to where it's like, it might be a different lineup every time. I mean, you know.
We'll talk about that Nashville and Colorado show. I mean, literally, you know, Nashville, you didn't have, I mean, Martinez, you know, longtime band member in Colorado, so there was that sort of comfort level there. But like between Nashville and Colorado and getting back out on stage again for the first time, post Danny, I mean, were you worried? Were you nervous? Was it just like, fuck it, I know these songs?
Well, I'll
I'm
tell
just
you,
gonna play
the
my
Nashville
songs?
thing, my ride to Nashville was with Betsy, and she loves to drive. Like if she's going to a musical destination, she's the driver, and anytime I hang out with her, it just makes me feel better. It makes me feel comfortable, you know. And I knew Tori was going to be there, and Spanky, you know. I mean, I knew Spanky, and there were a bunch of other people playing, so it wasn't like, you know, I mean, the place we did it at, you know, Dee's Lounge, it was just kind of relaxed. It was, you know, and we were also staying at Spanky's place, Spanky and his lady Lulu, and their dog farm, you know. That was kind of our headquarters, and that place, it was just so relaxing. It's just out in the country and just all these great dogs running around. It was, you know, so the whole vibe was just very comfortable, you know, the whole time I was there. And then going to Colorado, like I'm, you know, with Martinez, I can fall right in with him. And sometimes, you know, there were a lot of things with just me and him, and then some things with, you know, the band that we have together out there. And those were good. But after not playing for like however long it was, you know, year and a half, or, you know, it's like I told Martinez, like, you know, like, it's a lot of fucking work, man, doing this shit. I mean, physically, it's like, because, you know, Eric, I mean, he's got all his equipment is so big, and we're the roadies and the musicians and you know, it's like, man, are we getting too old for this? I'm so fucking sore the next day, you know. It's like,
so you're telling me that after all that, and you get back up on stage for the first couple times, there wasn't. I mean, I saw you. I was there in Colorado. I played with you guys.
Well, it's because of the people that were.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, it's the people involved. You know, like there's some fucking great people. So you know, it wasn't me just like getting up by myself.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't me. I didn't have to start from scratch and like I need to put a whole new band together. I'll tell you, man, if we hadn't done that record, like I've had a lot of people tell me like right after he passed, you know, it's like, man, it's such a shame that you just did this great record, you know. And then Danny passed. And it's like, so man, if you know Bloodkin, that makes total sense. You know,
It does.
And
It does.
And to be honest, if we hadn't have done that record and had something to go out and have, you know, a thing to do to promote and some new songs, some, you know, I don't know if any of this would be happening, you know, because it'd be hard. It wouldn't be the same kind of. It wouldn't have the same kind of thing behind it, you know.
And you know,
I mean, there'd probably be some things here and there, but I don't know if it'd be the same kind of juice. I mean, it's like Carson told me a long time ago. It's like, I can get you better gigs, but you know, instead of doing the same thing, the same level that you've been at, you know, but if you have something new, you know, and plus, I want to hear a new record.
Yeah,
You know?
everybody did. Everybody, you know, the Bloodkin faithful are, you know.
What I was more nervous about, like initially, it was like the thought of doing a new record. When Danny first approached me about it, I was like, man, do we have anything? I know we can go out and play shows. We can play Quarter Tank and can't get, you know, whatever. I mean, we got a catalog, but can we go in and do a new fucking record? You know, are you up for it? Are you in shape for it? Can we get it? And after that session, you know, we can get things together pretty fast once we're together, you know, trying to go for the same thing, or if we have some sort of goal or what, you know, whatever. And after that session at my apartment, you know, I was like, okay, we have something here, you know.
So you got
just I guess we need to do a record, you know.
Well, I'd say that this record is one of my favorites that you guys have done. I mean,
it was my first record sober too.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
That's how long it's been.
Wow.
You know.
That's
with the box set when we did God's Bar and that, you know.
Yeah.
But that was mainly, I mean, the box set, and there's more on that later. Because there's still some issues with that I'm trying to get straightened out so people can actually hear it and get it, you know. Yeah. But I lost my train of thought. But the box set, that was Danny's. I mean, he keeps all that stuff. I mean, there were boxes and boxes of cassettes from when we were kids and just stuff that he was doing on his own over the years. And, you know, and that's kind of what the box set was. There was a lot more stuff than I realized that were like studio outtakes or things that we'd recorded before we started going in and doing quote unquote records. You know, it's like we were still recording stuff. And he really wanted to get all that stuff together. So that was, you know, he was really driven to do that. So that was him and Dave Barbie like really putting that together, you know. I mean, I was there for like just listening to the stuff, but I mean, the stuff was already done.
Yeah.
But he was driven. It's like, because he likes to collect that stuff and catalog it, and it's like, I need to put this out. Is that the NBA shutting down again?
Yes.
I'll say that.
I'm Eric Carter from Bloodkin.
Hey, I'm Josh Stack.
Hey, Josh.
I think the good thing about the record is that
The cover.
Well, the
The
cover is
artwork.
great. I have a couple points to make and a question. One, a whole new batch of fans are picking up on Bloodkin because it got covered by a certain band.
Yeah.
Some friends of yours. Another Athens band.
I'm assuming you're talking about Motley Crue.
Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Yes, the one and only. And so Trashy is now a thing.
Yeah.
Among the Motley Crue fans. And so I think that's giving you some momentum. And so you've done some shows with Tori and Betsy.
Yeah.
You know, not having people be like, oh, Tori doesn't sound like Danny, you know, I can't do this. So Betsy has that, you know, really prominent female presence.
Yeah.
But also fits right in immediately. And that's sort of, you know, the direction, and it's comfortable. I mean, you guys sound great.
It's really it's really comfortable, and it's fun. You know, like that's another thing I was thinking about at the beginning. Is like people would ask me. You know, I was like, well, like, do I need to sing? It's like, I can't sing everything. You know, I don't want to sing everything, and a lot of my stuff is like my singing is through the guitar. You know, like if I'm singing all the time, there's certain things I won't be able to do. So and Tori's like, well, there's certain songs that'd be good for him to sing. And Betsy, she's game for, you know, says, okay, let's split it up between the three and try to create a little thing that way. And we're just kind of, you know, we're doing it when we can right now. Because like I said, like they got their things too. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, Betsy's a mom. She's got her career, and Tori's all over the place with playing with God knows who. And, you know, but they both want to do it. So we'll just work with, you know. Everybody's adults, so it's like, well, we'll check our schedules and check with each other and do things when we can.
Well, and I will say this, that the people want to hear the music. I mean, this music means a lot to a lot of people. And so it's awesome that you are cool to keep going. You know,
it's
not
very
an
cool
easy
that I
thing.
have people that want to do it with me.
Absolutely.
You know? You know?
And they do.
And I love having a chick on stage with me. I love having Betsy on stage. And Tori just steps right in.
Right.
You know, he was like, "Don't be afraid to tell me if I'm fucking up." Or, you know. And
Tori doesn't ever make mistakes.
Yeah. But Tori's great.
So, Black Market Tango, what the title of that record is what? I haven't figured that out.
Me and Danny were actually having lunch with Carson, like trying to just boring business stuff or whatever. But one of the things we were trying to come up with a title, and it was just kind of word combinations and just trying to think of like certain things that kept popping up on the album. Like for some reason, there's a lot of and this always happens with a record, right? Or if you have a bunch of songs that are maybe written around the same period of time or whatever. If you can sit back and listen to them all, it's like, oh, there seems to be like kind of recurring themes or just a mood, and something about like for some reason, I don't know why, but I thought of like if I was going to make a movie out of it, it's like, oh, we need to do it in Mexico. It would have that kind of look, and just certain words or themes that popped up, and so we started thinking of combinations of words that go together. I can't remember what some of the other titles were, but it was like, once again, it's like putting a puzzle together. It's like, what sounds cool together that kind of can maybe, there's no big meaning behind it, but it's more like kind of a mood thing, you know. And I think much like when Danny came up with the name Bloodkin, we were at some dude's house at a party when, you know, like way back in the day, and we were all kind of hammered. And Danny went to the bathroom probably to throw up and wash his face or something. He came out of the bathroom. He's like, "I got it, Bloodkin." And you know, when you're trying to come up with band names, it's like
It's awful.
You know, it's easy to come up with stupid ones.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where it's like, that's fine, that's good enough. You know, and then it starts getting more significant as time goes by. It's like, well, of course it's called Bloodkin. You know, it's like family. You know, I've had a lot of people over the years. It's like that don't know us or whatever. It's like I thought you guys were like a heavy metal band. I was like, well, that never occurred to me, but I guess because blood, you know.
You remember that place in Chicago we played?
The Double Door?
No.
Oh, no. The concrete and steel place?
The concrete steel
they
place.
They just hosed down at the end of the night?
the stage was like 8 feet off.
Yeah. Yeah, that place is totally designed for like
death
punk,
metal,
speed metal, death metal bands.
Right. Sorry, that was an aside.
Yeah. No, it's... everybody's got to have their place to go play.
So... Man, this has been awesome.
But I came up with that combination of words. It was like I
went
to the bathroom.
So Tango was you.
Yeah, and I was like, how about this? But I think we already had like different words like on napkins and pieces of paper, and just trying to fit them together in a kind of a cool way, you know.
Yeah, dude.
And I like that.
That's great. I had no idea.
Yeah, and I love the artwork too. Once I saw that, I thought that was really cool.
And that was Flournoy Holmes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's got quite a history in the album cover business. You can look him up.
So you have the vinyl show on the 29th of December after Panic plays the Fox.
Yeah, and I believe there's one on the 30th too.
Well,
but definitely the 29th.
Definitely the 29th. And then 2022 is sort of like sit back, look at what we have going on, and then
like you know, everybody's holiday hangovers, New Year's, and all that stuff, and I know like later in the year, I know like March might be blocked off for like John Neff because he does a thing with the Mike Mills Orchestra thing. That
that's right. You have a band member that tours with the member of REM. That's pretty cool.
I think they're doing some shows in March, so you know that might be a time. Like I might go to Colorado and do some stuff with Eric Martinez, and I know he's doing his album release thing in.
We're going out there on the 4th.
Yeah, we're going out there, and I'll probably stay out like a week or something. And then we'll just we got business stuff to sort out, but that's boring to talk about. It has nothing to do with everybody else.
So you're gonna keep playing?
Yeah. I mean, I'll bring that up to Tori occasionally because I like to kind of get a gauge. It's like, and Tori's like, man, I'll do it as much as you want, you know, anytime I can. You know, and Betsy's the same way. It's like, so we'll keep trying to do this and get it more streamlined and organized and do it when we can, man.
Aaron Phillips and John Neff and David Nickel and the Bloodkin rolls on. Well, dude, thanks for sitting and chatting.
Yeah, man.
This has been awesome. And I Am AVL was kind enough to set this up and shoot this, so you guys give some love out to them as well.
Yes. And once again, I'm Eric Carter, and this was Josh Stack.
Was.
I don't know who he is now.
Changes daily. We are here on Carter Drive, Carter and Patton, with Eric Carter, the one and only. So, it's fitting. Right?
Sounds good to me.
that it?
I think that does it, man.
Did you get that?
The whole Johnny Depp thing?
Yeah.
We got pieces of it.
So they'll be sprinkled in.
We'll get more Depp.
I don't want to go on that too
We
much.
can dep it up.